term walking sim has been met with some derision in the gaming community, even though in the last few years it's grown bigger and bigger, with even AAA studios now hopping on the bandwagon. Our game, Dwell, was even considered a walking sim to us at first, but since the early concepting phase it's become so much more than that. What I present to you today is an opportunity to invest in the next stage of the genre. An interactive horror piece supported by a story that forces the player to question their own actions as they uncover the truth behind the titular town of Dwell and the mysteries that lie in the darkness beyond. As such, our game is more akin to titles such as Gone Home or Collab, with the emphasis on story and atmosphere rather than action or jump scares found in other horror titles such as Dead Space or Five Nights at Freddy's, for example. Thus, our target market for this kind of game would be the mature gaming audience, 18 years or above, and most likely fans of horror, since our game deals with heavy emotional and philosophical issues while providing this kind of disturbing experiences that younger audiences might not be able to stomach or easily appreciate. That is, without resorting to the level of gore that has saturated the horror genre for the last 20 years or so, with our game focusing more on the psychological aspects of horror. As for our development time, we'll only require 6 more months to complete the game, based off the previous 6 months' work that we've done beforehand. The artists and designers will be spending 5 of those months developing each area properly, then spending the last month or so polishing the sound and assets therein. Meanwhile, our animators will be working daily to ensure that their animations match the rest of the game's standard in terms of artistic quality, while bug testing will be carried out throughout the development process to ensure that there are no bugs or major glitches upon the first day of release. However, after release we will continue to patch the game based on players' feedback in case we've overlooked any technical issues here and there. Here I've provided a breakdown of all the costs incurred throughout the development cycle. From the licenses the artists will need to use, including Photoshop, ZBrush and Maya, to the license for Unity, the program we've been using to make the game so far. We'll also need office supplies like desks, chairs, keyboards and monitors, which have all been sourced cheaply as possible to reduce our production costs. However, we haven't skimped on the quality of the computers and other hardware that we're using, such as drawing tablets for the artists, as we'll need to maintain the same level of production throughout. We've also found an office space in Penryn that meets our needs without stretching the budget at just under £8,000 for a minimum year-long lease, the estimated utility costs of which have already been worked out accordingly. Now, to build an interest in the game before its release, we've decided to shoot a short film, a teaser of sorts, similar to the way Soma was marketed last year on YouTube. We're writing the script ourselves and we'll be hiring actors and a 2-man film crew from the film and television department here at the university. Now, to cover the costs of filming over 3 days, we'll need an extra £1,200 on top of the initial production costs. That way we can pay each person, that's 3 actors and a 2-man film crew, £8 an hour. So that's £8 per hour, 10 hours a day over the course of 3 days. Marketing aside, since our game leans heavily on the narrative, we've predicted our sales figures in line with some of the most recent and prolific titles in the genre. Collab, for instance, has only sold under 60,000 copies in its first year of release, while Layers of Fear has already sold more than double that in less than 6 months. Since our game is relatively short in comparison to most of these titles, we're looking to sell our game at around £4.99 to undercut these cheaper titles. We think that keeping the retail price this low is fair considering we're quite a small studio of only 8 members, and hopefully the low price will entice more people to buy it upon release instead of waiting for the Steam sales for the price to go down. So, based on the previously mentioned development costs, we'll only need to sell just under 16,000 copies of the game to ensure that we break even. This means that if we do as well as even Collab did within their first year and sell over 55,000 copies, we'll have more than doubled our profits. That said, thank you for your time.